All right, so let me say hello and welcome to each and every one of you. Doug here with the LincolnList.com. And I want to welcome you to another weekly edition of Happy Hour with Lincoln. As you know, this is where week by week I'll do my best to answer all of your stock market related questions, tales and rants about stock market topics, and share my 2 decades of trading experience with you guys. Just so you can be more profitable, more professional, and continue to do what it is you love to do, which is trade stocks. As always, if you guys need help with that, ever since I moved into the office, I'm going like a month and a half now here, this new office. Everything's live streaming the watch list, live streaming the trades, everything here. So, whenever you guys need some help, whenever you want to check it out, right here's the link right above. Every day the market is open, I'm trading live. So, before we get into this happy hour, I have some choices I'd like for you to make. We have 2 choices in front of us. For this happy hour, we have number 1, our tried and true favorite, Jameson's. Or should we try a little bourbon? A little bit of Maker's Mark here. Which way are you guys leaning here for today's festivities? Now, it doesn't really make much of a difference because I think I've already decided which way I'm going here today. But I thought I'd ask anyway. Besides, it's not live, I can't hear you. So we've done about half of all the happy hours with Jameson's because I love Jameson's. Don't ask me what it is I like about this stuff. As you know, I've traveled all over the world to all kinds of distilleries. I've drank $3,500 bottles of scotch at the Lagavulin factory. And yes, that's way better than Jameson's, don't get me wrong. But for the price this stuff is, and the way that it tastes, this is like a miracle to me in a bottle. You might not think the same thing. You might taste this and think it's disgusting, but for some reason. I think it's because I did that video once and I actually researched the company. John Jameson, on the depths of Bill Street, was born at distillery. I still remember the script. Anyway, we'll have to put Jameson's down. Let's go with a little Maker's Mark today. Also one of my favorite bourbons. Same thing, I've drank a lot of bourbons and I like Maker's Mark. These mid-price whiskeys, they're pretty good compared to the really, really expensive stuff. Now don't get me wrong, that expensive stuff is superior, but not everybody wants to be carrying around $500 bottles of whiskey all the time, do they? Or any of that at all. Also, I have another question I'd like to ask you. I've got you on a tripod, so we're going to move around a little bit. Apologize for any shaking or anything like that. So, I'll tell you what. Let me move this over here. I'm going to just be behind the camera for just a second. The last time I did a happy hour, I did it behind this wood wall. Is this reclaimed wood? I don't know what the hell it is. So tell me, do you guys, put it in the comment section, do you guys like if I recorded the happy hours behind this wall? What do you think behind this wall? Or how would you think if I just always went, sorry for moving the cameras, if I always went like right there showing the office, showing the computer station? I know that looks a lot more like trader-esque because everybody's always showing their trader workstations and stuff, right? It might look better if I had some pictures on the wall, but there's just no way I'm going to do it. I'm way too lazy for that. No, I'm going to do it from here this time. So just kind of let me know your thoughts, your feelings, and stuff like that about it. Wood wall, computer. It might even look better if I just cleaned up my desk. But, this is just how I do things. But you know what, guys? This is a money-making desk. Not that stuff they show in the TD Ameritrade commercial stuff and the Scottrade commercial where the guy's wearing like a freaking turtleneck and a pair of glasses. A turtleneck and a pair of glasses, all professional looking and calm, and he's like trading stuff. That's not how it's done. That is not how it's done. Anyway, this is how it's done. So anyway, guys, here's what I wanted to talk about. And I'll give you one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this. This is a time with this coronavirus thing and a lot of people being, I don't want to use the word laid off. I can't think of the right word. Quarantine, not working currently. I'm starting to see a lot of people come into trading, which is great because I don't ever think I know there's never a bad time to learn about finances. Even for some of you that come by and you want to day trade and it ultimately doesn't work out for you. Or, you want to be more of an active or a professional trader and that doesn't work out for you. Still, it's the lessons that you learn on just how to manage your own money and how to take care of your own finances. Because, You don't have a lot of choices out there. What most people do is they put money into a 401k that's managed by someone else who doesn't care about that money like you care about your money. And if you really just take the time to study a little bit, and you're just a half decent investor, and you pick some good companies, learn some fundamentals, a couple of chart patterns, I'm telling you, you can outperform some of these funds. You will beat the S&P every single year that they benchmark themselves against. You can do it on your own, even if you have zero financial experience. Now, the reason I want to say that is because some people really do want to make it here, and it just doesn't work out, and that's okay. You know, it didn't work out for me at first either, but the lessons that you learn with finance is always great. So kind of like bounced off topic there for a second. But the other thing is a lot of people are reaching out to me asking me, hey, if I'm a beginner, what is the best trading strategy I should use? You know, what is it I should be looking for every day with the market? What's the best trading strategy for a beginner? And how does that work? And what should I be using? Well, the thing you've got to understand when it comes to trading strategies, if you haven't figured it out already, is trading strategies are like religion, right? Oh man, that bourbon, feeling that sour mash. Trading strategies are like a religion. And that's mostly because a trader has developed this and it's kind of proprietary to them. Not that they're holding it close to them, but it's a hybrid version of many different mentors and many people they've met throughout their careers. And that's how they come up with their strategy. So like, for example, mine is part from what my mentor originally told me and helped me with. Then I met some people along the way and I incorporated some of the stuff that they were doing. Then I came up with some things on my own. And after a few years, I have this thing that I do. So everybody's going to be different. There's no one way to do this. There's like 1,000 different ways up the mountain. Again, great religious reference, right? There's 1,000 different ways up the same mountain. What somebody does may work well for them. What I do works well for me, but it might not work well for you. You kind of have to find your own way. So it's difficult to just point out and go, it's flag patterns. That's what you should be trading. It's reversals. That's what you should be trading, because that's not true. So the way I want to answer this is I want to talk to you about what's really important, because it doesn't matter what the trading strategy is. I once said there's only like 3 strategies or something like that. It's either you're trading a breakout, you're trading a breakdown, or you're trading a reversal of some sort. That's it. Now you can mask 1,000 different types of strategies around it, but that's basically what everybody's doing. Trading a reversal, trading a breakout or breakdown. That's it, you know? And behind every single trading strategy lies one important fundamental that what I do, what you do, what someone else does, what every single trader in this entire world, they all do that stick around for a long time. They all have one fundamental principle. And what that is, guys, is price. It's all about price. Now, when I say price, what I'm talking about is what does the market think this price is? And there's a separation for that, because when you hear horror stories about traders that blow up accounts or people that lose large amounts of money, why that happens is because there's a disconnect because of what the trader, I'm just going to point to myself right now because I once did this, what the trader themselves thinks price should be, and then what the market says the price should be. And I'm sure some of you may have heard this saying before, the market's always right. And that means it doesn't matter what you and I think. It doesn't matter if we think it's overbought, it's overvalued, it's stupid, it's ridiculous, it doesn't make any sense. That doesn't matter. All that matters is what? Price. What is on this screen. And that's what makes charts and technical analysis so valuable, because it's not about what a company is worth or value of a company in every scenario. It's about what is somebody willing to pay for that. So it's all about price. So every strategy is going to be about price. What you're seeing on these screens, the bids, the asks, the charts, whatever you're seeing, if you're new and you're just looking at this stuff, that price has relevance. Where it is means something. It means something. And where you decide to buy, where you decide to sell, makes all the difference in the world, and that means something. Now, the best way, which some of you may know this because I've done about 1,000 videos on it. If you want to see more, go up into the search box, type the Lincoln list, and I'll give you the title here in just a second. How do you figure this out? What is the most valuable tool someone has? Good old support and resistance. Nothing will ever come close to that. Nothing will ever beat that. That is, in my mind, the holiest of holy when it comes to stock market indicators. It's all about support and resistance. Stocks have a tendency, in most cases, to be bought up heavily as they reach critical support levels, and they have a tendency to be sold heavily when they reach important resistance levels. So no matter what you're trading, most activity is going to happen around a certain price, okay? I want you to remember that. Maybe I'll show you an example here since I just happen to sit down next to the computers. Everything's going to happen with inside of a price per day. Now, maybe the next day it's above or below that. Maybe 2 weeks later it's way, way far up or way, way down. Who knows? But for that moment in time, what a trader's job is when you're looking at buying something and you say, is Facebook a good investment? Well, you have to ask yourself, what do you mean by investment? Are you talking about a 20-year hold? Are you talking about today? Are you talking about right now at this moment? What is your exit strategy? What are you trying to think about? But if you're asking like right now, well, you have to think about that, you know? And the market will tell you that. So remember what I said, if you're worried about blowing up or grenading accounts, that's where it comes from. It comes from the disconnect here and what you're here. Because what this is telling you and then what this is telling you are two different things. And when this starts taking over too much, bye-bye wallet. So let me show you kind of what I mean. I don't even know if you could see these charts right here. This is like just the market here. Let me just pull up the market real quick. I'll just do the SPY for some of you here so you can see it. So it's like every single day that goes by, this thing's trading within a price. So when you're looking at, this is the open morning action right here in between this box, okay? This really tight frame right here where this thing had traded. So a new person might look at that and not understand, well, why is that trading there? What does that mean? Well, if you go back further in time, I can't really show you that. That's why you should just go up there and click lincolnlist.com. Support resistance video, explain this in depth. But this price means something. This price is showing stability for the moment and a moment of also indecision inside of the market because it's really packed within a very tight range. So what we really do as traders as well, something I should mention, is we spend a lot of time doing price discovery. Our job is to try to figure out what the market thinks the price should be and where they're going to buy and where they're going to sell. Obviously easier said than done. But in a case like this, it's all about where this price and what does this mean back in the relevance of this whole entire chart, months, years, weeks, whatever. What does it really, really mean? And eventually, as you see, as it loses price and it's unable to establish consistent pricing within this area, what happens is it sells off. That's not much of a secret there. The clues are all within inside of the inability to gain buyers inside of that price, the inability to see attraction. So kind of think of it this way. I've used the phrase before that the market will run up prices as high as it has to before people find it too expensive. Or they'll sell it off as far as they need to before people find it cheap and start buying it again. So when a price is stuck right there, it's sort of like a bullseye, right? Like it's a blaze orange vest. And it's just begging for people to come there. If buyers look at that and they're not interested, and it's just sitting there and they're just not buying, that doesn't matter if you think they should buy. The fact is they are not buying. And how do you know they're not buying? Because it isn't going any higher. It isn't moving. It's not being bought. And the longer that lasts, in most cases, what the market has to do is rediscover another price. So kind of look at it this way, like you put an item, right? You put this computer on eBay for $200 and it just sits there for a week. Nobody's buying it at $200. So that's kind of telling you that's the wrong price. No one is interested in this computer for $200. What do you do if you want to sell it? You drop it to $150. See if anybody's interested down there. So that's the same thing that happens here today. The market just sells off and comes down here. Hey, is anybody interested at $150? Is anybody interested down here? And you see If they're not, what do? Same thing with your computer. You lower it to 125, 100, you know? And that's what the market does. It will eventually fish out prices. So what this means to you guys is when you're looking at something and it's trading for whatever the number, let's say $120.33, that means something. There are no randoms in the market. So what we always want to do is figure out, what does that really mean? How important is what I'm looking at? What does that really mean today, the next 10 minutes? To the grand scheme of things, how valuable is this price and how interested is the market? And this is how bubbles are formed, is when people keep stepping over each other, buying things. So like the computer, somebody offers you $300 and you're like, that sounds great. And then 2 seconds later, someone says $350. Then somebody says $375 and everybody just trampling because they want it so bad. Now they're overpaying. And there's ways that you can see that too with your price. I guess a good example of this also would be, a lot of people come in talking about these airlines, you know. I guess we could take a look at AAPL, for example. You know, and here's a classic example of that. People think just because it's American Airlines and airlines will always fly and it's a great company, so to speak, that it has to go back up. Now, in some theory, that's true. It will sometime probably go back. I'm pretty sure it will go. But when? When? Right? Just because we think it's supposed to go up doesn't mean it's going to go up, right? That's what we're trying to talk about here. It's all about price. So what it does is it sells off and it finds a few spots on the way down here. Nobody's interested. And there's been a lot of people, trust me, there's a lot of people out there who thought this was the bottom. Then they thought this was the bottom. Then they thought this was the bottom. And it's like, no, there is no bottom. The market will tell you when there is a bottom. And it hasn't said that yet. It's not a bottom. It's not a bottom yet. Okay? It doesn't matter what I say. You know, because I think it will recover. But when I look at price and I disconnect what I think personally with what I'm seeing on the charts, I'm like, yeah, it's going to recover, but it ain't going to do it today. Not going to do it tomorrow either, because that's what I'm seeing. There's been down here for a while. No one's interested. They can buy it any day of the week. Nobody's buying it. Okay? You'll know when it's time to buy. So kind of in a recap, I know this is really, sometimes I rant and I get maybe too advanced with my lingo sometimes, but the most important thing, the most important trading strategy is price. It's understanding. So if you're new or you're struggling, one of the reasons that you don't get where you want is you've got to figure out that price. You've got to understand, what am I looking at? And what does this really mean? Because that dictates everything after that, the type of size, the target, the risk, everything falls in line after that for a trader. And that's what you want to be able to recognize. It's all about price, guys. It's all about price. Remember that. So as always, if you need help, feel free to reach out to me. I do hope you're enjoying yourself. Maybe we can share a little bourbon together one day. Give me your tips, comments, quarrels, curmudgeons, suggestions, whatever. I appreciate you supporting the channel, supporting these happy hours. Take care. Until next week, guys, trade well. Cheers.